Disney Animation has somewhat of a weird track record with sequels. You don't really have any that you could point out and be like, these are incredible. It's definitely rare, and I enjoy a Disney animation movie. I do. I don't think the sequels are very good, though. And so I went into Zootopia 2 thinking to myself, this might be fun, but it's not going to be anything special. And I was wrong. I really liked this film. That genuinely, this could be the best sequel that Disney Animation has ever made. It was kind of great.
Yeah, have we broken the curse right now? They're actually exploring more of Zootropolis. So everybody listening, Zootropolis 1, I watched it recently and that was my first time watching it. And I thought that was good. And it's so funny to me because I was like, why didn't I watch this film way back in 2016? But now I was thinking how much has changed for Zootropolis 2 because I bet they wanted to release it sometime in that period. But animation takes time. So it's so bizarre once you think about it in comparison because the story is set 1 week after the case of the missing mammals.
I can't believe they just said it 1 week later. It's
Yeah,
been
1 week
10
later,
years
right?
and they were just like, yeah, so it's been 7 days and it's like, I don't think it has.
Brother, it's been 10 years. What's going on? And it's like nothing has changed a lot in Zootropolis. So this is where sequels start to deteriorate. They have this strange passage of time where a lot hasn't changed and they keep going back to some of the things in the first movie. Some parts, not whole great massive deal of it, but it loves to go back to the bits of the movie that I think people really liked. So yeah, it's just mind blowing. It's just 1 week later. I'm just sitting in the cinema like, wow, it's been bloody 10 years. Jeez. It makes you feel existential for some reason. It's like these characters I had 1 week later. But yeah, good time around. It's a good sequel.
Yeah, it manages to do some different stuff. It doesn't feel like a retread. It doesn't feel boring. It expands the world and digs into the characters in some really exciting and interesting ways.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
Might have reached the end of Act 1, and I was thinking to myself, oh, is this just going to be a bit of a retread of the last one? But then as soon as you get into Act 2, you really get some great stuff. And here we have an example of a blockbuster sequel that I can't really get mad at because obviously for a studio like Disney, their output will consist of new stuff and familiar stuff. The familiar stuff keeps the lights on. This film has been so popular. It's had a humongous opening. It will easily crack 1 billion. It may even get towards 2 billion. I don't know. It's doing phenomenally and it's only been a couple weeks. That's amazing. And that's what, for a studio like Disney Animation, and I want to make it clear, there's a difference between Disney the corporation and Disney the animation studio. So, I'm not talking about those guys, I'm talking about these guys. And that studio needs stuff like Zootropolis 2. And in the UK, it's called Zootropolis. In America, it's called Zootopia. We're in the UK, we're going to call it Zootropolis, and you're going to shut up. Leave your comments. Save them. Save them.
In the comments like, actually, it's Zootopia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Who are
everybody.
these
That's what he's
fucking
going to sound
posh?
like.
No, we know.
No.
But they need Zootropolis. They need Moana. They need whatever. Encanto 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what other sequels are coming out, but it's a similar story with Pixar, right? It's Inside Out 2. It's Toy Story 5. It's the films that people will see in droves. And hopefully, in all the original films that we have, you get something great as well. And in this case, I can't be mad at the sequels because this film, they clearly put so much effort in. It's not like Moana 2 where it's a TV show that has been ripped apart and stitched back together just to create a hodgepodge of a film. This feels like something deliberate, like something that's creatively driven. There was a beautiful bit at the end in the credits. I don't know if you saw this, where it just said, made by all of us at Disney Animation.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, that's really sweet. Everyone at Disney Animation is a filmmaker. That's the beauty of it when there's a crew of people and they work together. They're filmmakers. That's so cool. They put so much effort into this movie, which is great. And then they had fun with it as well. What I also loved was the crazy amount of references in this movie, which were funny.
I think I know the one that you mean.
The one with the Ratatouille one. That got me. That got
brilliant.
me. Great. It's a chase sequence. And they go through I don't know what the room is for. The cook room.
The kitchen.
I can't
the
think
cook
of it.
room.
Guys, it's real.
What?
I can't think.
The cook room.
The cook room.
That's something very different, John.
That's the word of 2025. Yeah, so the kitchen, they go through the kitchen and one of the chef's hats falls out and it's a rat on a hat and it's ratatouille.
Whoa!
So
Yeah, that's great.
that got me. So I was like, oh.
The one that I thought you were going to say,
Yes,
at the
The
end,
Shining.
there's a brilliant Shining reference. And
Which I loved. That's my favorite. But
yes.
I just wanted to talk about the ratatouille one because I really got me
Yeah,
on
oh, I mean,
But
come
The
on.
Shining,
Like, yeah.
the full-on Shining?
Oh, they had a music, they had a really great reference that we're not going to spoil, but it's so funny. I was the only one in the cinema cracking up at that moment. I was with my mate.
I love that.
He didn't really get it, but he kind
Oh.
of did. It's just one of those things where it's like, that's made for a certain... It's like in the first film, you got the whole Godfather thing. People get it in some respect, but like really, the details of that joke are funny to the cinema fans. And I like that. I like how we got to return to a couple of those elements from the first film, a couple of returning characters. It doesn't feel tacked on, it doesn't feel fan servicey. I didn't mind that. I liked that we got to see a couple of our familiar faces again, even though it has only been 1 week. As we all know, it's only been 1 week. But I think mainly in this film, we get to contend with Judy and Nick's relationship and how the two of them aren't necessarily in this business of mystery solving for the same reasons. This has been Judy's lifelong dream and she wants to make the world a better place. But Nick just is happy to have a mate and is just along for the ride. And to see them kind of grapple with that in this film, there's a couple of lines where Nick says, "This case isn't worth dying for." And you kind of wonder, is he right, or are Judy's more noble intentions right? And I really enjoyed that we got to contend with those things as well.
Yeah, and the movie really helps to expand upon their perspective about what their dreams are. It's not like the sequels going back from zero. They are still figuring out each other's perspective. I mean, it's 1 week later, everybody. It's just, it's not been like 10 years or something.
In case you missed it, it's been 1 week.
It's hard to process that, but hold on, everybody. So with that perspective from the first movie, with Nick being outcast as a predator, which is really sad, and Judy wanting to chase after her dreams with everybody just doubting her. She really wants to save people's lives. She wants to solve cases and make the world a better place. And with Nick, he just wants to be alone. And there's that great source of conflict that you see at the beginning of the movie where they don't really communicate to each other. They just, I was about to say they're hopping to one thing to another.
Oh, you.
That was subconscious. That was like they're hopping to one thing to another. Not communicating to each other. It just causes a lot of chaos. Yeah, and then towards the end, it's great to have that arc, just really understanding each other with Nick actually communicating to Judy.
Going back to that Shining bit, because that's kind of towards the end of the film.
Yes.
And the characters are kind of seeing each other a little bit more on the same wavelength. And so what they do to subvert your expectations of that Shining scene is very funny.
It's great, yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff. And we also have a couple new characters along the ride. There's a beaver. I can't remember the beaver's name, but there is a beaver.
Yeah, there's a beaver, guys.
Yes.
There's a beaver in the movie.
And she is very comedic relief, very kooky. There's a lot of jokes about eating wood, classic beaver things. Is she voiced by Fortune Feimster, I think?
Yes.
I've got the cast here, or I've got at least what I've written down for the cast.
I'll get you the name of the character.
Thank you, John.
Nibbles.
Nibbles
Maple Sack.
Okay. The names in this are just so great. There is one brilliant... Fuck it, it's in the marketing. Gary DeSnake. And there's a really great joke where he introduces himself and he's like, "My name's Gary DeSnake." And the other character's like, "Oh, nice to meet you, Gary. What was your second name?" And he goes, "DeSnake." It's funny. And that's
Quan.
Fantastic and everything. He's so great. He adds, I think, a really great layer. And I don't think we get enough of him, but we get too much of Nibbles. I wasn't massive on Nibbles in the same way that the comedy, like The Shining and those kind of things, that's very much my kind of comedy. And the dynamic between Judy and Nick, very, very great. The comedy when it comes to someone like Nibbles is for a very different kind of person. I think for maybe a younger viewer. Yeah. And that's okay, but it wasn't really for me. But I would have loved to see more of Gary DeSnake because what we find out about the narrative surrounding Gary DeSnake is very interesting. We'll get into spoilers, but I think beforehand we've got to address the animal in the
address me. Address me.
Address me. Obviously, since the first film, there have been a lot of people who quite heavily ship the main two characters in this film. Are you aware of this whole thing, having only just watched the first film?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who are very invested in this, and I think it's very interesting how ever since 2016, a lot of people want to see Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde get together. They want to to see them admit their love for each other. The first film ends with Nick saying, "You know you love me," and Judy saying, "Do I know that? Yes, I do." And in this film, they obviously are partners and they care very deeply for one another. And the film gets so close to explicitly having them be in a relationship, but never quite crosses that bridge. I'm not necessarily a shipper of these characters, so I don't know if this makes the shippers happy or sad. You can tell us in the comments, but I just think it's incredible how invested people in the cinema. I could hear people really gasping at some of those moments where they might have a falling out or whether they admit. There is one moment in the climax where the two of them kind of admit their love for each other, and it's kind of really powerful. But I can only imagine how the shippers felt in that moment.
They were like, "What does this mean? What does this mean?" To be fair, though, it's 1 week later, guys. It's 1 week later.
Yeah, well, did you expect them to be married with kids?
In 1 week. The writers, they could have actually addressed something about it. It's just there. It is like they really care about each other, but it's 1 week later. So there's the conflict of that. They want to be in love already because it's like they're still learning about each other. So it's there. There's a hint of that somewhere in that speech, which is great. That loving and compassionate that we don't get to see. And it's just like, yeah, I really care about you. And Judy shares as well. So yeah, it's great.
100%.
It's great.
Before we get into spoilers, I would like to say we have a new Shakira song.
Yeah, Shakira. Yeah,
something about a zoo. Zoo. I can't remember the song.
It's so funny because in the last movie, I watched it last week. Bloody hell!
It's been 1 week. It's been 1 week. Whoa!
I was just guessing everybody's voiceovers. I was like, okay, I haven't seen the credits yet. I'm gonna guess everybody. I got Idris as the officer. I was like, great. And then when it came to the gazelle, I was like, is that Shakira? Is that Shakira as the gazelle?
Yes, it is.
And then I was like, yo, that's great. So obviously, I stayed behind for the Zootropolis credits, and I listened to that banger. Then I stayed behind for Zootropolis 2 credits. Banger Zoo. So it's
another one.
Stayed there.
Yeah. It's less of an earworm than the first one.
Yes,
but it is a great song. I like that.
Do
a lot.
Everything. What was it? The song. Try everything.
Try everything.
She loves doing the oh like that.
She does. Yeah. It's she. There's a really funny line. Shakira gets a couple of lines in these films, and in this one, she's like, this is like a zebra who runs into her, and she's like, "I will remember this zebra." And it's so strange and off
that's
the
so
cuff.
menacing as well. It's like
and it
I've
also
never
comes
seen
back
this side of
later.
Shakira.
Oh,
Shakira
God.
is directing what?
Anyway, so I reckon spoiler time.
Yes.
I guess the biggest spoiler of this film is that holy hell, they did it again. They did another twist villain, and this time, genuinely, I thought they did it very, very well. And I think that's because they layer it. The twist isn't just twist villain. They've given you numerous twists throughout. The first twist is about the reptiles, or what we think of them and what they actually are. And then there's the twist of the lynxes, that they're all evil. The people who supposedly invented Zootropolis and the weather walls, they stole that from the lizards. These reveals build throughout. You got this character, Porbert, who is Andy Samberg, who is the son of the main lynx, and he is revealed to be a good guy. He's helping Gary to Snake. But the twist is that he actually isn't. But unlike Bellwether in the first film, he doesn't switch his personality. He retains the person that we've known, but he is working for more nefarious deeds. And yeah, what can I say? I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that twist, it caught me off guard. And we just get to see more about Zootropolis. Because I was questioning a lot in the first movie, like how the world works, how different ecosystems, do they clash? Does it cause problems? How do they travel? All sorts of things that I think what makes the film great in terms of like world building in the first one. Like you really want to see more. You want to question about the world. And then we do get to see that, the history of it, about how it was created with these walls. And then with Porbert's twist, he portrays Gary the Snake and Judy. And there's this great line, Judy saying, "You can be different from your family." And then he says, "I don't want to be different." So he really wants to prove himself to his family that he's loyal.
Yeah.
And that's heartbreaking. So that's a great twist. It's Andy Samberg, everybody. It's Andy
Samberg.
I mean,
also great casting as somebody that we feel like we should trust before the twist, because I trust Andy Samberg. Like, come anything
all
he's
the
in,
way.
Like, exactly.
If he's like guiding me forever, guide me to a dark alleyway.
Light the way.
Yeah.
Lead the way. Where, John? No.
A dark alleyway. Oh no.
If you ever don't show up for one of these videos, I'm gonna have to assume that you followed Andy Samberg down a dark alleyway.
Yeah. Hey, watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine with me. I'm like, great. Let's.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Which
cool.
episode? Are we gonna watch the
Yeah.
box? No. Yeah, I think it's interesting because people with power, people with influence, they don't want to give it up. They are comfortable. Why would they want to be different from their family? Why would they want to not do crimes? Because they're happy in their life, they're content, and that is something that I think is really well represented with the Lynxes and the whole idea of them stealing these designs and stuff from the snakes, from Gary's great grandmother, and completely burying them. I mean, come on, like the history, the allegory, the metaphor is right there. I mean, that is brilliantly potent and it has so many applications that hit home today and yesterday and hundreds of years in the past. This idea of people being demonized and misinformation being spread about them and their contributions to history being erased for the wealthy and the powerful and the dominant. For a film like Zootropolis, which the first film has those kinds of heavy themes for a younger audience as well, you're doing it again, and I really like that. They continue to push the envelope. They're not just having a fun ride. There is a lot to be said here. And I like that so much.
Like movies like that, disguised as a children's film, but have such powerful messages that can really impact a lot of the younger generation and think, wow, what's happening in our real world? There's parallels to that. So this movie does it again with the history and, as you said, people being demonized.
Yeah, and it's all about good people, regular people standing up. If Nick says this isn't worth dying for, nothing is. They've got to take this stand. Judy and Nick are not just police, but they're also people, and they can understand the struggle.
And Nick's arc as well, fighting Paulbert, he's like, this is not worth dying for. And then Nick finally says, agree to disagree.
Yes!
Like, he actually changes it.
Oh my god! Great. That scene made me I wanted to punch the air. That whole, like, sequence where Nick calls Flash the sloth, and they drive them, and there's the moment when the head lynx tells the cop to shoot to kill, and the cop doesn't want to do it, but then does it by accident, and the dart's going for Judy in slow motion, and the car comes in, and then the whole thing within the weather wall, and that whole fight with Paulbert with the venom. Cinema. I was on the edge of my seat. I was so gripped. And then, like, that all coming into the beautiful finale where Gary sees his home again. And I thought the music was so beautiful there. The whole thing was just so great. And then, my favourite character, Patrick Warburton, as the horse mayor. I can't remember his name. It doesn't even matter what his name is. But I loved him so. You put Patrick Warburton in anything, and I am a happy man. His voice is just perfect. And,
it's perfect.
Seeing him doing like his little action bit at the beginning and then doing it again at the end with being like, you know what justice is, and defeating the Lynx. I was living for that. Amazing character. Well done, everyone involved. Patrick Warburton, you are a gift to voice acting. I have so many positive things to say. One little negative was, I did think the beginning was a little bit redundant. It did feel a little bit like, okay, it's been 1 week. Why can't we have pushed forward a little bit in the narrative? Why is Chief Bogo annoyed at them again? Surely there's more goodwill here that's happening. I think that Chief Bogo should have believed them. Rather than sending them to therapy, he should have believed them and helped them. And then when he gets knocked out, nobody official believes them anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there would have been an interesting dynamic if we'd have shifted things a little bit from the first film, but that felt a little bit redundant. And it wasn't until we got to the reptile place, which was really creative. It was kind of like, it's swampy. It's very reminiscent of like Louisiana. And that's when it kind of began to kick into gear with me. But this is a bloody good film.
Yeah, bloody good film. I agree. Michael Giacchino, he scored 2 of these films. I was surprised. I was like, oh yeah, it's Michael Giacchino.
Can't go wrong.
It's a good score.
Right, what are you going to give Zootropolis 2 out of 10?
A 7.
Nice. I think I'm going to give it an 8. I'm feeling pretty positive. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you liked it, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. And next week, guys, I'm sorry. We said we'd be doing Zootropolis last week, and we said we'd be doing Avatar this week. I moved things around. It's, you know what? We all make mistakes in life.
Yes.
The Frankenstein video came out early, whatever. But next week it is, I promise. It's Avatar Fire and Ash. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
yes!
Getting those 3D glasses ready. Gonna get them cleaned. Going to go to the opticians and get them cleaned.
Get them polished. Yeah,
polished.
And you can send an email at ourtimefilmpod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on Avatar: Fire and Ash, and we'll answer them right here on the podcast next week.
Yes, and you can follow us on Instagram at Out of Time Film Pod to see our incredible thumbnails from Zain, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom and me, and TikToks to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, and you can find links to that all in the description below. Thanks to Elle for the excellent theme and Ron for the vocals as always, and I think that's everything. Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.